All right, so the new prophecy books, whew, it's it's a book series. It's a series in Warriors that, for a lot of people, including myself, is really, really controversial when it comes to the Warrior series. Firstly, it comes after the very first series, which the majority of the Warriors fan base agrees that the first series is probably the best series. Don't want to be that guy, but I think we can all agree that it's probably one of the best. I mean, for me personally, Vision of Shadows is kind of creeping up on that. Like, yo, rearing its ugly head, just like, yo, I'm actually kind of dope. And I'm like, yo, this is wild. But this, my excitement for Vision of Shadows aside, New Prophecy has always been that series that I wasn't 100% sure if I liked. It was one of those moments where I'm like, I mean, it's good, but it's not the best. And it was the same way, it was one of those moments where I had similar complaints with The Power of Three, or really most series leading up to Dawn of the Clans and Vision of Shadows. The first series was good. Then we had this issue in the New Prophecy, which I guess I should jump into. Firstly, why do I think people dislike it? Why do I dislike it? Some people find it boring. Looking at these prompts, I swear they need to stop. Like, stop asking Prompt Clan. Y'all are awesome, but like, I don't really know how to rant with this stuff. So the New Prophecy. Personally, my biggest complaint, and something that I feel like a lot of people will agree with, is that the New Prophecy series does not work the same way Into the Wild did. Prophecies Begin. The New Prophecy is a series that is supposed to focus on a prophecy that was brought forth about the clans, pretty much the forest's destruction and the clans finding their brand new home, which is awesome. I can't complain about that. That was really well thought out process. Everything was based around this singular prophecy sort of situation where everything that we were seeing in the beginning led up to the clans moving to their new home. Got it. 100%. This is awesome. However, my biggest complaint here probably has to do with the execution. These books were a pain in the behind. And I'm really trying to keep my language to a PG, at least, I'm trying to keep it to a PG level, but it's a pain. It really is, because the first book, and I don't read before I start ranting, because when I have to sit there and read a book that I've already read previously over again, especially from a series I don't particularly enjoy, it becomes agitating. So I pretty much go off of what I remember, but a lot of the early problems with these books is that we really didn't get what we were promised. We had a lot, and I'm pretty sure matter of fact, I can go ahead and check up on the book and what it was, because I'm almost 100% sure I know how this goes. It literally is the story of the clans going to find Midnight, right? Yeah, they reached at the end of Midnight. The clan cats reach Midnight, where they reach the Badger Midnight and sort of have a moment where they learn about the destruction of the clans. And the epilogue has the destruction of the forest beginning. Alright, there you go. That's that's pretty much what it is. And it follows with Moonrise. And oh my god. See, my thing is, it took 2 books, 2 whole books, for us to detail the journey of these cats from the beginning to the end. And we're not even talking about the journey of the clans to the new home. We're not talking about trying to convince the clans to go to this new place. That's not included in these first 2 books. The first 2 books are just about the same characters traveling all the way to the Sundrown place and all the way back, which, granted, Moonrise I can give a little, like a tiny bit more credit here. Had it been, had Midnight been the journey from the clans to Midnight, and then maybe their journey, like their beginnings into the mountains, or really, I can't really say I can think of a better execution. It just wasn't enjoyable for me, where we had 2 books just dedicated to traveling, and the second book was literally detailing, something that a lot of people really didn't like. It's like, oh my god, Feathertail died for a completely different tribe. And really quickly, I want to go into that because it can affect how this rant goes forward. The reason why Feathertail had to die was because the clans would not have had any way of surviving the journey to the new territories, to the lake territories, any otherwise. Feathertail was the reason that Sharptooth died. Simple as that. You can't kill a mountain lion. A cat can't, even a group of cats are not going to find it easy to kill a mountain lion. And Feathertail managed to do it. Feathertail managed to take this guy out. And had they not, the tribe would have continued being preyed on by Sharptooth. And for the literal rest of the New Prophecy series, you would have had the clans, they would have tried to scale the mountain, climb over, and the tribe, first of all, you would have had Sharptooth lurking around, ready to take some lives. Like, personally, I feel like the Great Journey was probably the most pathetic thing I've ever read in the Warrior series, because there's no way in hell that a group that large of cats are going to climb over a mountain laced with snow and ice, and they are not going to have more casualties than they did. And the only, I think there was I can't say there was more than 2 casualties. Off the top of my head, I know Smokepaw died, and Smokepaw's death was really just something that is expected. It was try jumping over a gap, the ground collapsed, there you go. That's to be expected. You have a bunch of cats climbing over a mountain that chances are not many people are just going to casually climb up. Second of all, how big are these mountains? They have snow at the top. Even during winter, that's kind of wild, but whatever. They're climbing over this mountain, and literally the only close casualty that I know they had was an issue. I know there was a bird that had come close to them. I don't think it carried anyone off. I know that one kid had almost died from either hypothermia or frostbite. I think it's hypothermia. I'm pretty sure it's hypothermia. But you almost had a death from hypothermia that was caused because they didn't know how to survive in the mountains, and the kit's life was saved because a tribe cat knew how to handle a kit that can't get warm, considering, it's out in the snow. Had the tribe not managed to get rid of Sharptooth, the tribe wouldn't have been there to save the clans. Simple as that. The only reason the clans were able to survive was because of the tribe. And personally, I feel like a lot more of the clans should have gotten picked off. I mean, if anyone has seen Sky Clan's journey, through Hawkwing's journey, what was it? Hawkwing's journey? It was something. Hawkwing's something or another. But that whole thing detailed the most gruesome, horrifying, when I say that it is horrifying to just sit there and witness it, as you sit there and read, I'm just like, oh my god, this is terrible. You see a clan fall apart over the course of time. Every single time they think they found hope, it's torn away from them instantaneously. Sky Clan just isn't having any good luck, and it sucks, but what can you do? It was terrible. And this was with a smaller group of cats. And you may say, well, because they were smaller, they were less offended. Actually, when you're dealing with traveling, smaller groups are actually better. And the reason is, the larger the group of cats that are traveling, the more focus there is on you. You have less places to hide. If you are traveling through a field with, let's say, a smaller group of cats, you can have some of y'all run up in the trees, some of you can, hide off, some of you can distract whatever you're running from, It works. It works a lot better than when you have a situation with such a large group of cats climbing a mountain nonetheless. If there's a bird that comes by, a group of birds in general, because we know there's a lot of birds, large birds of prey up there, and considering we learned that they can carry off, unsuspecting cats, we know that there is no way in hell that these large group of cats are actually going to make it up that mountain without having some sort of casualties. The stragglers of the group would die. End of story. That's just how survival works. But, whatever. It's a fantasy cat series that apparently, makes a bunch of people angry for reasons I'll go over in another rant. But, yeah. So, regarding the rest of the journey is fine. They get to the new territories, they split it up, that's cool, whatever. The bigger issue is, this is when the plot begins to diverge, where things just don't make sense to be in this series anymore. And this is something that happens a lot in the Warrior series, is where a plot is usually given. Like in The Prophecies Begin, there's a plot. Fire saves the clan. Fire is going to save the clan. And the entire focus of the books is the conflict between Firestar and Tigerstar. Even when Tigerstar dies, Firestar still has to deal with the consequences of Tigerstar's actions. Everything revolves around Firestar and Tigerstar, and they throw in different plot devices, but they all work. They all work to make a very good and detailed story. While the issues with frickin' Tigerstar, in this issue with traveling the clans and whatever the hell's going on in New Prophecy, just doesn't stay constant. It starts to veer off of the main plot course. The main plot course was the clans finding and settling into their new home. And I add on settling because, that's probably as far as I can get. But to add on, from here we have the relationship drama between Brambleclaw, Squirrelflight, and Ashfur. We have Leafpool and her weird romance with Playboy Crowfeather. You have, there's just so many things that are happening all at once. You have Brambleclaw and his relationship with his half-brother and Tigerstar. It's just so much being crammed into a series that it just doesn't work. It doesn't, and it doesn't fit together properly. And while each individual story is really decent on their own, in fact, I absolutely love the drama between Brambleclaw, Ashfur, and Squirrelflight. I adore it. My heart is this is amazing. I love it so much. But individually these things are really good, but when you try to add them on to the original plot line, it just doesn't work. And it feels more like a small little story snippet that would have done better as a super edition between the New Prophecy and Power of Three. And that's just my personal opinion. I feel like they could have used those extra books, that extra story to flesh out the great journey more, detail it, give us more, between the traveling at the beginning and the traveling at the end. Sort of detail, give us details, feed our hunger for knowledge, feed our hunger for detail and understanding and great storyline that fits. That's where I feel like the Aaron Hunters failed in that aspect. And granted, the story's still good. I still think the New Prophecy series is pretty decent. It's not bad. I don't think it has anything that I can say I absolutely hate in it. I just personally think that it should have been fleshed out and put together a lot better than it was. And if they still wanted to add the plot devices that, you know, do these things do flow into the later series, so I do believe it should have its own book. But like I said, it would do better as a super edition that's 100% dedicated to this information, rather than wasting, you know, these extra books focused on stuff that doesn't really follow the same original plot line. And that's my opinion. This is a 15+ minute video. I need to cut this out. You just got phantom ranted. Congratulations. I need something to drink before I do the next video. Boy.